Welcome to the Garth Riley Show. Good to have you with us. The author of this book here, Living Forward to and Giving Back, is in the studio with me. And Isabelle St. John has written this book that I would have to say is designed to help people who are going towards retirement, maybe financially there. We're all going to get there if we don't die first. And when we get there, are we really prepared? Money-wise, sure. But are we ready as a fulfilled, purposeful life? That's a big question, without introducing religion to the point. And you've done so well in this book. You speak about, just during the break, you were talking about generativity, that something happens to the people in their midlife. Maybe I want to speak to that first.
That's right. Generativity was a term that was coined by Erik Erikson in the previous century. He was a psychologist. And that's one of the things he realized when he looked at the different lifespan, the different stages that people go through, that in that, say, mid-40s to maybe late 50s, people have that sense of wanting to make sure that their life is going to matter, it's going to make a difference. They want to give back, they want to lead their legacy. And so it's a time of reflection. And so that's part of what the book addresses, helping people to find ways through the example of others where they can meet that developmental need that occurs if they slow down enough to really feel it. Because otherwise, if they don't slow down, they're going to be feeling it.
Well, I think you raised a great point, because most people don't know how to slow down. We have been programmed to run like hell to the end, to the line, and think that there's some kind of prize there. Some of us have realized that there is no prize except for that which we create and perhaps leave behind. And so we're caught, especially in North America. You would hazard to say that most people going towards retirement are ill-prepared for what comes, and to the point that it ends up in mental health issues and perhaps early death for people that get to retirement, especially men who get to retirement who feel that there's a life less fulfilled. It's a very sad time. You'd think almost financial planners or people that are working for people to help them get to retirement would actually want them to be able to enjoy their retirement and know to say, you really need to be ready for this because it's going to happen when you're at the point of, you don't have a business card anymore.
Right, and actually the good news is that increasingly financial planners are realizing that people need to plan their life, their retirement, or their re-engagement in relation to their values and to what's really important for them. And some of them encourage people to make a reassessment around their values at that time and to plan accordingly. So
in your book, you speak about this. I mean, your freedom, identity, and purpose. When you're talking about people, a purpose-filled life. I mean, did you leave a legacy, and are you living the legacy now that you want your kids to have? You also encourage people here to be environmentally friendly, even though our generation has been brutally corrupt.
Yes, so we
That's
have
how
to.
I'd say it. We've certainly done our job. Now you're saying that it's not too late to work at it in a different way.
I don't think so, because, some environmentalists say that it's too late, and some people say, well, I'm not an environmentalist, I don't have to worry about that. But then I say, well, wait a minute, do you breathe? Because if you breathe, then you are part of the collectivity of all of those humanity on Earth that we do have to care. We do have to find a way to change our way of life.
I remember feeling somewhat when I worked with the bully program that I created for schools and teaching kids how not to be affected by verbal bullying. I remember thinking to myself, how many will it work for? And then I realized, one, and I've been in front of thousands of kids and heard hundreds of testimonials that I made them think in a different way. I am disappointed with the World Monetary Fund. I am disappointed the way world leaders govern themselves. I'm disappointed the way my neighbor behaves. But I have a choice. And you really clearly say that, when you're living forward but giving back, that it's a time where you can really be reflective and make that change versus realizing that you just basically, you've been a tissue paper and used up your time here, and, you didn't leave anything behind except for a residue.
Yeah, and the other part of that, too, is that when you think about it, at the end of your life, it's not just about how much difference you've made, but also what I speak about in there, not only different ways of making a difference and living in more sustainable ways, but think about the simplicity of life. And that's something that you can choose in every day to go to cultivate a different appreciation of life.
Right.
A different quality of life.
Yeah.
And that's the urge in midlife. It's like you don't want so much to have more stuff, to collect more toys.
No.
You want to have a better quality of life. And it takes reflection to be able to do that. It takes knowing what your intentions are, what is important. So that's part of the invitation of this book that provides a format and a structure within which you can take on these kinds of reflections so that your life can go from being focused on quantity to quality. That's part of
You would think that most people would actually get that, but quite frankly, you and I both know they don't until a crisis appears or
That's
an
right.
epiphany happens or something like that, and then eventually they have one of those life-stopping things that cause us to reflect forward. Even when it comes to the environment, let's face it, most people, until we can't drink our water and until we can't eat the fish, we are still going to be struck with figuring out why is this important. And yet we all know it's coming. And if you talk to people like David Suzuki, he thinks there's no hope anyways. But the point of the matter is there is hope as long as we decide that there is some. I encourage people to get a hold of this book, Living Forward and Giving Back. It'll make you walk through it. I got halfway through. And I'm like, there's a part there on the relationship side that I'm like, do I want to read this? So I have to now decide to do that because it's a bit of a skeleton that I wanted to avoid. You don't let me avoid much.
That's right.
Thanks for doing that.
Comprehensive book. And at the end, I talk about, as a matter of fact, that the inner resources that we still have, because those are not limited like the material resources that we know are running out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we really have to turn our focus inward and remember that what we have inside, the strength and resilience of the human spirit, when you put that in combination with the heart, it's mighty powerful, and we can find our way to a better life on earth, hopefully.
I would say that this book written 10 years ago would fall on deaf ears. I'd say this book written in these given times, when there's a new set of normal and that we don't know what it is except uncertainty, that this book is well placed, well timed, and I encourage people to at least look at it, because if we don't, you'll get to the end and go, uh-oh. It's a little late.
That's right.
Isabel St. John,
Can
great
we
having
take
you
on?
as a guest, and we encourage you to go forward and keep pressing your word forward, and
Thank
we hope
you,
you're very
Garth.
successful with it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching the Garth Brodie Show, and we'll be back with more topics at another time.